Tell a friend. Like it nice and quiet, to be honest. To be frank. Who are these two? Third Strike? I'm gonna be honest, it probably doesn't happen for you guys, but as a veteran Third Strike player, I fucking notice instantly whenever there's two Third Strike characters. Instantly. Even if it's like Chun-Li and Ryu. Even if it's like not even technically Third Strike characters. If it's two characters in Third Strike, I'm just like, pow! Wait a sec, I know those two. I just feel like watching today. There's no game I feel like playing. Just a little bit I feel like playing some Fire Emblem. I don't know if I have a playthrough of Fire Emblem 7 on my YouTube, even though I love that game. But I don't know if I would just want to like play through Fire Emblem 7 again, right now. That's... yes. Ironically, Blanka was called Blanka because of his white skin, even though he has green skin. Technically speaking, Blanka's English, like Cammy or Dudley. Although he fights representing... that was a bit jank. He fights representing Brazil, because I guess he was raised there. Ooh, nice back, nice. I think Yang would have built the bar to FADC that from having that blocked. He literally knows Dan because Dan is a joke character and Blanka is a joke character. His name is Blanka, not fucking, I don't know, Blanco or some bullshit. Because, Japanese people can't into gendered pronouns. Or gendered words. I didn't watch the Red Bull event, but I think I know the winner. Cammy was English. I don't know if she was ever in the US. I don't remember where she was kidnapped from. That might be some comic thing. I don't know if it's ever listed in the games at all. All we know is that Cammy's a former Shadaloo. Rescued. And she may or not actually be related to DiCaprio. They're supposed to be genuine sisters, right? I can't tell. Why the hell is DiCaprio Russian? They look damn similar. No spoilerino for the other people who have not yet watched it. I already know who won. He played a big man. Cammy might legitimately be a clone. All the other girls are kidnapped, but I don't remember if Cammy is kidnapped or a clone. Cammy has like a special history compared to all the other dolls, but I forget what exactly it was. How long has Shadaloo been operating? Bison's been a guy long enough for Rose to be born and also to get to middle age. So that's like 30 years at least. That was... he had a punish there on that focus dash on the drop kick, I think. Oh! Bison could have been operating for years and years, man. Bison could be like centuries old, jumping from body to body. Probably not. Technology's probably pretty recent. I like the idea that Bison's an ancient evil. Makoto became so cool in Ultra. Makoto went from being my least favorite character to one of my favorite characters. Makoto's fun to watch and she's fun to play. She feels very much like her Third Strike self, but more scaled back. She feels like her Third Strike self, but fair. She's got really awkward movement, but a really solid mix-up. And like, you know, she's like a more active grappler. She's got the stiff movement a grappler has, but it's not the traditional kind of grappler stiff movement where she can't move at all. It's more like she can move really well, but only in very particular ways. I'm looking at that link. Maybe I want to click on that. What's t.co? Isn't that Twitter? Is this like a Twitter link? Took me to YouTube. Okay, I really want to click that and watch that. We'll look at that in a minute. And instead of just having a command grab that does 200 flat damage, Makoto's got a command grab where she has her follow-ups, which basically amounts to 200 damage, but gives the player a lot more control and freedom. So you can land your ultra, or you can like use some bar if you want to. And even if you don't want to use anything, if you just want to do Stand Fierce into Fierce Dash Punch, you still have to like actually execute it. It's fun. Nice. Backdashing prevents the ability to FADC. There was no way to kill there, I don't think. Got him. That was a command grab. The entire game needs to adapt to Makoto, not the other way around. If they had Makoto. Fun fact, Makoto can always cancel to the same level of strength of her cancelable attack. For example, Fierce can go to a Fierce Hayate, Stand Strong can go to a Strong Hayate, but Jabs can only go into a Jab Hayate. But if you do Strong into like Jab Hayate, but charge it to a level 2 Jab Hayate, it'll add a little bit of damage. And if you do Fierce and you go into a Strong Hayate and charge that to level 2, it'll still combo and it'll do a little bit of extra damage. Makoto can increase your damage just a little bit by going into the lower strength and having perfect charging. I like stuff like that. Whoa. Feels like, that's how you optimize damage in a lot of anime games. It's very non-Street Fighter. You get the good damage right off the fucking bat, but you can get just a little bit more with, like, really tight execution. Makoto's V-skill will turn her body red. No, her V-trigger will turn her body red. Bet a nickel. Excuse me. That was a very low axe kick. I like the idea of low axe kicks, like opening you up to like standing attacks with high hitboxes. Reminds me of KOF. I feel like there aren't enough attacks in Marvel Infinite with the kind of high hitbox. Everything kind of comes out at the middle of the body. You know what I mean? All the jabs, all the shorts, and like most of the fierces kind of come out around the midsection. Roundhouses too. Very few things at like shoulder level, and almost nothing above shoulder level. Low jabs come out even lower, and low fierce. Low short and low roundhouse are like universal lows, and then low fierce is a universal launcher. So there's no place for, in most characters' move pools for like a high hitbox attack. That's why there's so many characters who like they can come from up and forward, and they're all like the best characters in the game, to be honest. If a character can come from diagonally up forward, like they have good footsies. Like the way Jetta can. Like the way Dormammu can. Hell, like the way Dante can. Like every air dasher can. And then all the characters who can't do that shit. Ryu can do it a little bit with his Tatsu, but in a very, very stiff way. Pressure. Ah yes, Makoto's V-skill, an instant cancel. So you can cancel to Hayate and then do the instant cancel for a little bit of V-meter. So you can do Stand Fierce into instant cancel and be like +4. And then do jab into just short jab Hayate. Ah yes, so you can do Stand Fierce into instant cancel into super, which is an off-the-wall super. I'm just making up shit she had in Street Fighter Omega. Because she literally had that in Omega. But if it was, even if she had her off the wall super, which she probably wouldn't have because she would probably have Super 1. Even if she had her off the wall super, it would just cancel from Stand Fierce. They would take away the ability to combo after the super if she had Super 2. And also it would just be Cammy. Because they would need to make it good or else no one would use it. So it would like go to the wall really fast and then come down really fast and it would punish fireballs and it would end combos. Yang dizzies people all the time in Street Fighter 3. He's one of the prime dizziers. It's like him and like Oro and like Alex and Ryu. Certain characters just get all the dizzies. Necro. Shaquille. What? Who drops that? No. There's an easy trick to that to make it basically undroppable. You do Stand Fierce and blink it to strong, so you never drop that part. And then you do quarter circle forward, you release the fierce, but you hold the strong. And that gives you a negative edge dash punch. And the negative edge dash punch will never ever, it will always be the fierce dash punch, and it will never ever charge to level 2 because it's negative edge, and thus cannot charge. Elena does good dizzy, but she like if you look at Elena's dizzy, in terms of, like her lows do like no dizzy at all. Her overheads do pretty good dizzy. Mallet Smash and most of her special moves do pretty good dizzy. Her throw does pretty good dizzy. She needs like 5 successful reads in a row to dizzy, because all of those reads are just one-hit attacks. But she can dizzy you, but she still needs like 5 reads in a row. Especially her DPs, her combos do pretty good dizzy, but she doesn't really get combos all that often. Looking at Minot, they probably actually would give Neko his regular ass drill kick. Nothing wrong with 3 characters with that drill kick. Minot might be the first sim we've gotten since Necro. Minot is like a weird halfway between a sim and a Rose. She's honestly more like a sim than a Rose, though. She's like an anime character meets a sim. And Sim is already one of the more anime Street Fighter characters. Anime games have a lot of extreme kinds of characters. OTC. Whoa. He thought that hit, but it was absorbed, but he still did the combo like it hit. Electric Snake V-Trigger would literally be, what's her name? Colleen's V-Trigger. It would just be the same shit. Travel along the ground, high dizzy, knockdown. 1 or 2 pops. When I start thinking about that, I start realizing, like, you know, there were some good ideas snuck into Street Fighter 5. I actually feel like Colleen's V-Trigger is one of the weaker V-Triggers in terms of, like, technical design. And yet it's exactly what I would make if I was moving Necro over. Nice. Nice, the reads. Makoto has a good capacity to read. This probably will kill. That was an unusual route to take. Not that unusual. You guys are nuts. I can't see his... no, I guess I can see... He probably would have an EX Electricity, which he presently doesn't have. And his EX Electricity would probably be Super 1, somehow. So I guess his Super would be Super 2 or Super 3. It would make the most sense to do Super as Super 2 and Electric Snake as V-Trigger, I guess. But I don't want them to do that. If Electric Snake was the V-Trigger, that would be kind of cool because it would let you combo out of it. They don't like combo after Super, but combo after V-Trigger is something a bunch of characters can do. Most of them, even. It's rare that a character can't combo out a V-Trigger. It's like Sim. It's like the only one. That should work. If Yang was a little higher, he could dive kick to dodge it, potentially. Oro is already half motions, half charged. He would probably retain exactly the same special move motions. Almost certainly. They would probably keep his charge moves charged and keep his motion moves motion. EX palm combos are a little picky depending on screen position. Oro's EX Fireball is one of the better projectiles in the entire game. I would call it like top 3 metered and non-metered fireballs. It's like amazing. It's definitely one of the best ones. Akuma's air to ground fireball is spectacular. Urian's ground to air fireball is spectacular. Oro's EX Fireball is probably better than both of those, but it better be because it costs meter. Who else has a really busted fireball? Those are like the best fireballs in the game, to be honest. Most other fireballs aren't really worth noting. Super fireballs are a different story. Akuma Super 1, Aegis Reflector, Tension Hadoken. Yageo is like definitively the best fireball in the game. No questions asked. No, it might actually be. Well, okay, it's Aegis. Take it back, it's Aegis. Yeah, Remy's fireballs are surprisingly lackluster. They're only okay. They're not even that good. Makoto, Dash Punch becoming plus frames if you charge it longer would actually give you a pretty good reason to charge it in neutral. It's hard to imagine fireballs being good in Street Fighter 3's engine. That's the flat out of it. If they made Remy's fireballs any better, he would absolutely destroy characters like Q and Hugo. And he would still lose to characters like Oro. Flat out. There's no way to fix Remy. Well, not with his fireballs. They need to make a bunch of sweeping changes to his normals. That's how to fix Remy. Remy has like, about half of Remy's normals are borderline useless. The other half are alright. You got a lot of normals that are just bad versions of other characters' normals, like low strong. And you've got a lot of other normals that like have a particular use on Remy, but only because he doesn't have anything better and he probably should. Like if he had a Shoto low forward instead of fucking the low forward he has that doesn't cancel and doesn't do anything. And then you've got buttons like Stand Fierce, which are, or Close Fierce rather, well both of them, which are just kind of hard to even find a place to use because they have no like spot in his repertoire. A lot of them are pretty good, but they're just highly situational. Like his sweep is pretty awful. It's one of the worst sweeps. Because you can just low parry the second hit on reaction. His low fierce is quite good. It's actually a pretty nice normal. His close roundhouse confirms super, but you'd rather use close forward because it actually works on crouching opponents. So his close roundhouse is kind of outclassed. And I think it's 1 frame tighter of a link. So close forward is a 2 frame link into super 2 and a 1 frame link into super 1. Close roundhouse is, I think, a 1 frame link into super 2 and doesn't link into super 1 at all. I have a video, literally, that I'm working on right now that talks about making sweeps useful again and what they would need to do. It's my backdash change. I guess I shouldn't talk too much about it because I'm literally going to make a video on it in the next couple days. In fact, I've already recorded all the audio and written the entire script. This looks like it'll work. Sweeps are in this weird place where they're actually kind of hard to punish. But yeah, most characters have their sweep punish other sweeps. Look at this ass matchup. Ken is good here, actually, believe it or not. I would tentatively say Ken has an advantage in this matchup, either that or it's even. Ken's left forward does a lot of work here, and so do his DPs. His jab DP gives, like, Viper a hard time, legitimately. Because it recovers really fast, she has a hard time with punishing it. If it whiffs. If, like, he goes under or something like that. And if it hits, he gets a full ultra. I shouldn't say a full ultra. He gets a partial ultra. But he gets an ultra. Or like an EX Fireball or something like that. Ryu uses sweep, but he's bad. Who actually are 3 characters who use sweep? Let me think. Not sweep's pretty good. Akuma can actually combo into a sweep, which is kind of useful, situationally. So my characters have a decent sweep. Let me think. There's like someone really obvious who uses sweeps a lot. Oh yeah, Green. It was her. I was thinking of Green. Green sweep is how every sweep should be. Straight up. Green sweep is how most pokes should be. Green sweep is like perfect. It's actually the move, it's like the move I love the most in Street Fighter V. On the surface it looks really strong, but almost every character has a counter to it that works everywhere. And it goes from being this really good pokey tool in a game that's very sorely lacking of pokey tools. And it goes to like, you know, it does white damage equal to like 20 or something. And then you can usually punish it with like a reversal crouch jab that does like 30 or 40. You know, the risk reward evens out once you understand how to punish it and how you and then it just kind of goes to being a good poke again. I like the idea of something that's generally unsafe, but like you need to know a specific way to punish it, and it doesn't become useless once you know how to punish it. Q, about 80% of Q's normals are utterly useless, and the remaining ones are very specific. Q plays almost exclusively with special moves in close forward. And like far forward. Almost every button Q has is garbage. Alex's normals are... Alex actually has a place for most of his normals, but they are lackluster, without a doubt. If they were a little bit better, he would be a good character. Low forward is okay. It's kind of got too much duration. That looked like an SPD when he definitely wanted a lariat there. Q has probably 3 good normals. And by good, I mean okay. Like, if Yun had close forward, Q's close forward, he probably wouldn't use it that much. Has okay active frames, though. Or hard punch. I forgot that was even a button. I don't know, I don't like it. Back strong is okay. Back strong, close forward, far forward. That's my approximate Q button tier list. And that's okay tier. Everything else is garbage tier. We literally know that Q was designed as a training dummy. They made a training dummy that was a unique character, and then they were like, hey, let's give him a move list. Perhaps not so coincidentally, Q is probably the most combo-friendly character in the game. If it works on anyone, it almost definitely works on Q. Very rare exceptions. I think Remy has some combos that are a bit picky on other characters. Or I mean, picky on Q that work on other characters. But like, let's say Ken's juggles, or like Oro's juggles, or like most other character struggles aren't super character specific. Twelve has a good chance of coming back, so does Q. Remy has a worse chance if only because he's, whoa, close round nice into nothing. Remy has the worst chance if only because he's the most redundant. He's redundant with a popular character. Any game that Gal's in, Remy has a bad shot. Even more so with Nash, who's also popular. But then again, Nash is actually dead, so like he might not appear in a game for a long fucking time. Elena also gets hit by that Touch of Death, and ironically it's much easier to do the Touch of Death on Elena and Chun-Li than Q. They all get juggled about easily with it, but Q has the most health of those three characters. So actually devising a kill combo. Ooh, that was the worst EX Fireball I've ever seen. He could have just jumped up, and he could have come down with like Jump Fierce Ultra 1. That EX Fireball killed his own punish. He burned a bar to lose a giant punish. Remy's visual design is just fine. Nothing wrong with it. Nice safe jump. You don't need a safe jump to safe jump Ken's medium DP. Nice overhead. I think I don't remember if they ever buffed it, but Geef low short is all 2 frame links, I think. Imagine if T-Hawk could link a bunch of low shorts and then combo out of a 3rd one or a 4th one. He'd probably die of happiness. Hakan can combo out of a bunch of low shorts, I think, but he needs to be oily. I maybe want to click that link. Ken's like... Yeah, there it is. I was on reaction. He didn't need to predict or anything. Oh yeah, I played this matchup a lot. Repeated low shorts on a character who's like a grappler is so fantastic. That green hand might have been a punish on Ryu Staying Fierce. That button has pretty bad frame data if you don't cancel it. That EX green hand actually doesn't add very much damage at all. Why is this an Ultra 2 Ryu? I don't remember if Seth could actually do 3 low shorts or just 2. I don't remember if you could do low short, low short, low short, low jab, low strong. Because you need all of that in order to actually go into a special. 3 low short, since it's just a low jab, means you have to chain. Ooh. Oh, that jump fierce was so awful. He still could have come down and done a combo. Ooh, why? Alright. Honestly, that DP wasn't that bad. Because Geef wasn't gonna do an ultra punish. He couldn't do a super punish. And it did some chip, which was very important. So even even losing like 200 health plus Oki to do like 15 damage, that was still okay. Because Ryu had a bunch of life. Why are you gonna do that? Who is this Ryu? Playing like shit. You get a fucking... You get pressure after that shit. You can hold up forward after a sweep. You need to delay it just a little bit against Geef. Nice. That's gonna work. This is the one thing that Ultra 2 does pretty well, anti-air. Geef cannot change his mid-air momentum except with Ultra 2. Geef Ultra 2 will beat Ryu Ultra 2. I've been in that exact position. As general, Geef Ultra 2 will beat anything that's airborne. It's got quite a lot of invincibility. Sakura with Rekkas. Imagine if she had like a quarter circle back kick Rekka. Imagine if you could do like a spin kick across and then a spin kick upwards and then a Tatsu, like a light Tatsu. That'd be really neat. Felt like it's a special light Tatsu that knocks down. I would unironically like that. Abel can beat safe jump, but only with bar. Same exact way Geef beats one. They both beat it with EX command grab. A lot of EX command grabs in this game are a bit slower, 5 frames instead of 2 or 3. I think Abel's command grabs are always 5 frames. And they've got full body invincibility. Is there a Hakan tutorial? Probably somewhere. Goken. In this game, your tutorial is watching other players. This game's been out for so long. Just find a good player of X character and study. Wildcat if you like Goken. Bullcat if you like Goken. Wildcat if you like Hakan. Got a bunch of cats. Those are 2 extremely good Japanese players. Abel could have killed twice there. What is this Ryu doing? Stop! Oh my god. EXDP, yeah. I was gonna say, won't work because the EX roll. So he had to make a read. Tatsu was not bad. He lost white health there. This is important. Dude, Wildcat is a good Hakan player. Go find him, I promise. Infiltration is unironically one of the better Hakan players, if not, like, the best. That Evo match we saw of him playing Hakan wasn't even, like, the good shit. He played a little bit shaky in that match. If you watch other matches of him playing Hakan, he does even better. What is this mess? Damn, playing Strider today was pretty fun. I really like learning a character on the fly. Like, just throw me in a match. I will have more fun with a fighting game than any other, like... I will have the most fun with a fighting game playing a character I don't know how the hell to play. And being thrown into a match with, like... where I'm not utterly outclassed. You can add a lot of damage there by using Towards Fierce. Reuse damage optimization is kind of awful. Towards Fierce adds a chunk to his damage, but finding the places where you can use it is kind of hard. And also it requires like a 1 frame link. Technically you can do Towards Fierce close forward, or Towards Fierce close strong. And then go into buttons from there, and those 2 frame links. Hmm. Apocalypse, do you want to be gifted marble? I'll do it, damn it. It depends on how many dollars it costs. That was a failed DP, and that was a failed punish. Overrolled a little bit. Catching DPs are good. That's Mike Senpuka. Ah, full AAA price. I'm sure you can get it on like fucking Green Man Gaming or something. If Ryu does that was Ultra 2 Ryu, so there was no juggle. If Ryu does super on the ground, he has no juggle. But if Ryu gets super on an airborne opponent, he can juggle into Ultra 1. He gets 3 hits of Ultra 1 and adds something like 100 damage unscaled, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but occasionally is the right thing. Wow. Not even fucking strong DP for the maximum invincibility. If you actually don't even know what Hakan's moves do, it sounds like you need a bath how to play Hakan. I think I never touched Hakan. Never talked about what he does. I know a lot about Hakan, but not near as much as any Hakan player. I know more than the layman, but not enough to like main Hakan myself. Ronto is one of the more slept-on characters in this game. I would call him top 3 slept-on. I don't think he's like super good, it's just that he's very unexplored. There were a decent number of Elena players, there were a decent number of Hugo players, there were a decent number of Poison players. But Rolento and DiCapri didn't see much play at all. And the people who did play Rolento and DiCapri did extremely well. DiCapri is probably sleeper number 1. Okay, I don't know about sleeper number 1, but like she's definitely sleeper top. DiCapri's footsies have a high ceiling, if that makes any sense. Ugh, that was unsafe. Oof. That stomp stuff is is unique to Rolento. Rolento has a lot of symptoms of low tiers. He's a little reliant on reactable stuff. He has tools that are punishable by some characters and not others, and very bad when they're punishable. And he doesn't have a good, super reliable anti-air. He has like a pretty good anti-air normal. I like a couple actually. Snowmanos is alright, Stand Strong is pretty good. Dudley is like, I don't know. There were people who did really well with Dudley. Dudley had a high ceiling with his links and his struggles. You can see Smug do that. Smug was very close to Dudley's ceiling. And he had a lot of success. Yeah, Dudley was good if you were god at links. Dudley was maybe not super good, but his ceiling was really high, so you could make him work if you were good. Apocalypse, just pirate the PC version and play offline. Wii U. Roll is unsafe, but situationally difficult for characters to punish. EX roll is unsafe, but really difficult for some characters to punish. First Rekka is unsafe, and it depends on the character, but most characters can punish it okay. First Rekka is -4 with Relinto, and it's pretty hard to space. It's probably the hardest Rekka to space. Poison's is like moderately hard to space. Yang's is a little hard to space, and also it doesn't really matter if you space it. Phase is very easy to space. I feel bad for them Canucks. It's expensive living in Canada here, because you gotta spend all your money on heating. I've gotta spend all my money on cooling, dude. It's hot in California. It rains 10 inches or less a year here. And it's almost always, like right today, okay, today it was mid-80s. Which, for anyone who lives in a fucking civilized country, is like, what is that? Is that mid-20s? Like 25 C, something like that. What's 25 C in Fahrenheit? That's 77, so it's like 28 C. Yeah. 28 C, give or take, right here. I'm in SoCal. I'm about a 15-minute drive from Wednesday Night Fights. It's very hard to wrap your head around Relinto's unusual movement. His hits don't feel like they have a lot of impact. All of his attacks make like the jab sound effect, even if they're not jabs. It makes him feel weak, I feel. Oof. Fahrenheit is probably better than Celsius for temperature. Imperial is shitty, but the one thing Imperial does is it accommodates human needs, which Metric often doesn't. I'm sure you guys have seen the pictures. There's plenty of them out there. (100 Fahrenheit), pretty fucking hot. 0 Fahrenheit, pretty fucking cold. 100 Celsius, literally dead. 0 Celsius, pretty fucking cold. Relinto's low forward is, I think, 5 frames. His low short, I think, is 4 frame plus 5. So you can do low short, low forward. That's the confirm a lot of really good Relintos do. And I think roll is -5 EX roll, so you can punish it with a well-placed low forward. But it's 1 frame punish, which is actually difficult in this game. I hear that about weight too. We don't use stone over here, but English people use stone. And you can say all the bad things you want about how incredibly Imperial stone is. But you know, in terms of human weight, moving up or down a stone is a pretty big deal. Should I move up and down like a fucking... I have like a variation between like fucking 5 pounds just over the course of my week. If someone loses a stone, it's like, good job, mate. Pat him on the shoulder. Nice combo. I actually don't remember the pound to kilogram conversion. It's probably like a few pounds to a kilogram. Like 4 or something. 5. I don't remember. Probably not even 4 or 5. A centimeter is approximately 1/3 of an inch, give or take. Two and a half. That's not very much at all. You know what's funny is America had a unsuccessful conversion to metric in like I think the 80s, and literally everything accommodates both, but people just use Fahrenheit anyway. Like you can't buy, you literally like you almost can't buy a measuring cup in America that only has Imperial. Or like anything like that. You can't buy a ruler that only has Imperial. Everything will have everything. You'll have rulers with metric and Imperial, you'll have measuring cups with metric and Imperial. You'll have fucking scales that do metric or Imperial. So if you like, you can, people act like there's total accommodation for metric. It's just the people who are stuck in the mud. I think Sim gets bullied in this matchup. I think Sim can't keep Rolento out very effectively, nor punish him very effectively. I mentioned this the last time we talked about metric, but I've never ever heard anyone order 50 cc's of beer. Is it cc's? Five deciliters. Give me 5 deciliters of beer. Give me 5 centiliters. $50 centiliters of beer, please. I think he got him. Yup. $473 cc's. There you go. I've also never ever heard anyone measure dick size in centimeters. You think everyone would do it, because the number's going to go up a lot compared to inches. It's going to be a nice respectable number in centimeters. Oh, you got a 5-inch dick? I got a 15 centimeter dick. Pow. Make him feel small. Conversations that will never happen. If you tried that, someone would just be like, oh, that probably is some tiny amount. If I laid my dick across the keyboard, it would go all the way from A to Z. Rolento can squeeze a little bit of extra meterless damage by doing knife into punishes. Like knife into roundhouse into low forward into Rekkas. Rolento is definitely an, what do you call that? He's one of those characters, the same as Blanka. He tries to overwhelm you. Rolento's like a blitzkrieg character, if you will. Street Fighter V has quite a lot of characters like that, like Laura. A lot of Street Fighter archetypes are kind of dead. That's one that's doing really well. Whoa, no timeouts. Who does that? Why'd I get booted? How do I untime out? How do I make this message go away? I didn't even see all the messages that led to that. Damn, 2-second timeouts. I mean, Rolento just requires a bit of homework, and so does Blanka. They're all the same. They're not nearly as overwhelming as they look, but they're all designed to look really overwhelming. I don't know. That archetype is okay. I kind of like characters you can figure out and then they kind of like fade a little bit. But it gives them unfair wins against beginners, I feel. You got characters that can't gimmick and characters that can gimmick, and it creates tier differentials in low level that don't persist in high level. I feel like every character should have some gimmicks, and no one should have some particularly strong ones. I honestly hate every character in Street Fighter V played well. There, I said it. That's not going to work. Sim actually had a full jumping combo there, but honestly, empty jump into Ultra was better. Nice. He made that work still. He dropped it, but it's still salvaged. Alright, I'm going to let you guys in a secret. Things like Metric and Imperial literally are like the stupidest things to have arguments over. Sim actually does have jumping combos, but you see them once a blue moon. Sim can actually get jumping combos right off the ground. Oof. Like if you have like a regular punish opportunity, if you like have an opportunity for like Staying Fierce, as a lot of other characters, Sim can do like instant air teleport into jump roundhouse, and then like back Fierce from there. Good Minot is quite scary. Minot has some gimmicks, but most of her gimmicks are very hard to do. So Minot's like a character who I think would blow chunks at low level, and then be very strong at mid level, and then be probably okay at high level, or maybe kind of good. There's definitely a lot of depth with Minot's V-trigger. One focus release was insanely risky if Rolento backdashed. Nice, that was a very optimal combo. Ultra 2. I knew. The Rolento knew. He was gonna kill. Most of other stuff of Minot's is not that overlooked. The one thing that's a little bit... Minot can create a +2 scenario insanely easily. That's a big deal. Her mix-up isn't super solid. But, you know, any ball pull is really hard to prevent. And if you can do a ball pull, depending on the spacing, it can be plus quite a lot. But it doesn't even need like a super good setup to at least be like plus a little bit. Look how that comboed. Technically speaking, I'm waking up in 9 hours. Waking up at 8 AM. I only technically need 5 hours sleep to function, but I'd much rather get about 8. I only technically need about 3 hours sleep to function, but I'll be miserable. 9:30 a.m. is when I need to be at work. I'm going to set my clock right now to 8 o'clock. My alarm. I don't want to die young, so I'd like to get a decent amount of sleep. I had a coffee just today. It was my first one in a month. Maybe more. Let Dawson jump in. I forget how Sims fireballs work. I don't remember if it's distance-based, whether it knocks over, or if it's power-based, if like hard fireball always knocks over. And jab never does, or something like that. I think you can have fireballs that knock down, but I forget the context. Yoga fire. Or maybe they never knock down. I'm probably not going to go to bed super soon because I had a kind of big meal for dinner, and I probably shouldn't have eaten it all. My stomach is in nightmare mode overdrive. I'm in this really shitty position. That's actually a good anti-air. Ultra 2, I mean Ultra 1 should be good here. Not a lot Rolanta could do there. Wake Up Ultra was going to whiff. His only other wake up was like... I don't know if he had another wake up. This is a new video and I don't feel like watching it. I'm going to dig through my ROMs and just play something weird.